So not that long ago, I made a video talking about Nintendo Switch 2 games that I would love to see on the console. And one of the things that I did tease in that video that I was going to eventually make a video discussing some abandoned Nintendo IPs and me giving my personal opinion on the matter, discussing if there's like any sort of revival with those said series. Because sitting down and talking about it now, Nintendo has a lot of IPs under their belt. Series like Kid Icarus, for example, that I've been very vocal about on this channel, that I personally believe has a lot of potential if they actually allow themselves to go through and put out another Kid Icarus game. Because if we're talking about Kid Icarus, just giving an example of the whole situation going on right now, Kid Icarus was a series that came out in the 1980s, and yes, some people played that game and knew what it was, but when it came to like other franchises around that time, it was overshadowed by them. And Kid Icarus didn't really become a thing again, like not that many people really knew about it until Super Smash Bros. Brawl, which is one of the things I can thank the Smash Bros. Games, is that they celebrate the history when it comes to gaming. And a lot of Nintendo's franchises that they made over the years are celebrated in that game. And Pit, being a character from Kid Icarus, was introduced as a new fighter in Super Smash Bros. Brawl, so that gave people the opportunity to learn who Pit was, who Palutena was, because she was featured in there a little bit, and people were able to know, like, okay, this is what Kid Icarus is, these are where the characters are. So that's something I can thank Smash Bros. Is that it actually helps a lot of people know who these series are, besides like the main ones like Mario and Zelda and Pokemon. Like Smash Bros. In itself allows people to discover, like, okay, I never heard of this before around this time. Let me go and check it out. And for that, I can be thankful that Kid Icarus was able to get a new game called Kid Icarus Uprising, which made me really happy to see, like, okay, they're actually following up on the success of Pit being in Super Smash Bros. Because now everybody wants to play this new game that's coming out. And the game did very well. A lot of people did enjoy it. A lot of people said that's honestly one of the best games on the 3DS. So ever since then, it's been 12 years since the last Kid Icarus game. So a lot of us are speculating, like, okay, is there ever going to be a follow-up with this thing? And the reason why I mention this is because, like, okay, I appreciate them following up on the success of that game, but at the same time, it's like, are we just going to do, like, okay, one game and that's it? Or are we going to eventually do something else with it? That's my main problem when it comes to Nintendo. Obviously, I'm not expecting Nintendo to listen to me in this video, but just speaking in my opinion on the whole matter, it's like, you have a lot of these IPs under your belt that you could use, you could actually make more games for, have more of a variety on your console when it comes to games that you want to put out for people to play. Because if you notice and you go online and you see all these people talking about these various games that they really wish had another game, there's series like F-Zero, for example, that I talked about the other day in the video that I made, saying, like, yeah, even though I don't really expect it to happen and it's kind of like wishful thinking at this point, having another F-Zero game would be really cool. Because obviously we have Mario Kart, that's the main racing game on the console, and obviously that's always going to sell, and they're always going to put that forward before any other racing series that they have under their belt. That I understand completely. From a business perspective, from the way that they're handling things, I understand that when it comes to their main franchises they want to focus on. But when it comes to a series like F-Zero, you want to have more variety there. You want people that are fans of those series to actually, you know, go out there and play more games like that. It would honestly make people happy, because F-Zero, it could be another fighting game under your belt. You could do something with it. That would be very cool. Another series like Star Fox, for example, which I honestly didn't get into when it initially came out because I wasn't born yet. And I know the first Star Fox game came out on the SNES. And of course, we had a game on the Nintendo 64 for Star Fox. And from the time that I had the opportunity to play Star Fox, it was a really fun game. And you can honestly do something with Star Fox. You can make it one of those games where, like, you have Fox traveling through space, and then you could have him like stopping at a planet, he can explore it, and then after that he can hop back on his ship and he can explore a different planet, and he can fight all these different enemies in space. It's just me saying, it's like, there's just so much variety you can do here. There's so many franchises that you can flesh out even more. Yes, they're not as popular as these other series that you put out, but at the same time, it's like, you never know unless you try. You never know if you actually take the time to go out there and actually make another game and see how people feel about it, because there's franchises that honestly deserve a lot more attention. You have a lot of IPs underneath your belt. Instead of just including them in a Super Smash Bros. Game, which is always going to be a thing nowadays because they're stable characters for that franchise at this point, instead of them just being relevant in those games, it would be cool to see like a new game every so often. And it's different if it's like every 2 years or so you get a new game for it, because that's like the consistent schedule, where it's like when it comes to like a Mario or Zelda game, you always get like maybe every 2 to 3 years or so you get like a new mainline game that you can play, which is really awesome. But it's like when it comes to these other franchises, sometimes you gotta wait 6, 7, 8 years, and that really sucks. I honestly want to say that when it comes to these IPs, do they have a chance to be revived? Do they have any sort of future when it comes to Nintendo? And honestly, it's really hard to say, because at the end of the day, it's not really up to me. I'm not the one making the decisions. I'm not the one going into Nintendo's ear saying, hey, you better do this now because you have like all these other titles under your belt, and it kind of seems like it's just a waste that you're not using them. Like, you need to make another game now. It's just honestly really hard to say, like, could these series really thrive now? Because it's kind of hard, because the more you think about it, it's like, okay, you know, there's a chance there where you could potentially do a thing, but at the same time, it's like, is it even worth it? Does Nintendo want to put the effort into doing something like that? Do they actually want to take the time to listen to other fans out there when it comes to like how they feel about other series underneath their belt? I mean, I guess we could be thankful that there's like some sort of online game for F-Zero that was announced, so that's like a little something. Just even on the topic of that, even if it's like a little something, even if it isn't like anything too major, I would honestly be more than enough for me. Like, even if it was like a little Kid Icarus spin-off game, I would honestly take that. You know, anything at this point, a lot of us would take for those series that we really do enjoy. Like, even a series like Donkey Kong, for example, which I'll get more in depth in a future video for that. Even a series like that, knowing how big of a character Donkey Kong is and knowing how much people care about him, it's kind of strange we don't even have like a new Donkey Kong game coming out besides like the Mario versus Donkey Kong game. Like, I'm talking about like a focused Donkey Kong game where it's Donkey Kong, Diddy, and the rest of his crew in a game where you could play as them. Like, games like that, it's just been a while since we have anything like that. So could these Nintendo franchises be revived? These IPs under their belt, could they be revived? It's honestly hard to tell. Just looking at how Nintendo structures things nowadays, it's honestly hard to tell, but we can only hope and pray that the series that we eventually come across down the line could potentially have some light again and could get more attention, because there's a lot of great franchises out there that deserve a new game, and I would absolutely love to see it. But other than that, that's honestly all I have to really say for this video. So I'm curious to hear you guys' thoughts on it, like how you guys feel on this topic. Do you guys personally believe there's a chance that these Nintendo IPs could be revived, or do you guys think it's too late? Just let me know all your thoughts on the matter in the comment section down below. And if you guys enjoyed this video and you liked what I had to say today, be sure to like and subscribe. I really appreciate it. And also, if you guys want to check out my social media, my Twitter, my Instagram, and my TikTok is located in the description below. As always, be sure to click on that bell for notifications so you guys are notified whenever I upload a video on the channel. But other than that, I hope all of you guys are having a fantastic day, wherever the day may be, if it's the daytime, the nighttime, or the evening. And I'll see you guys in the next video. As always, peace out.